I'm Scott with Living Alaska. Imagine riding a wave for like 20 miles. That's what happened this week. I was able to catch it going to Anchorage for a doctor's appointment. I was able to get some surfers. We also had a solar flare. It's also called a coronal mass ejection. It was the peak of the solar cycle last month. And it happened to be on the same day of this board tide.
Board tide right there, trying to get on Alaska.
But we can get back to the house. We started installing the vertical beams. We did cut them just a bit long. I chose to use an 80 grit sandpaper to sand them down because we only had 3 of these beams and didn't have any room to make any mistakes. So it didn't fit the first time. We ended up sanding it 3 times. We did end up getting it the last time. Brianna used a persuader and very easily persuaded it right into place. We were 1 beam short, so we had to get one together. We didn't laminate the last beam. We just added a 2x6. We only had 2 16-foot Douglas firs. So we ended up having to cut about 2 feet off in order to make it it was about a 10.5-foot beam. Got that all fixed up, and then we did notice that the house was starting to sag a little more, and one of our boards is actually starting to separate. But I think we're almost there. A couple more weeks, as long as it doesn't collapse before then. I can't work too much, so my arm is really giving me a hard time. But it does look like it's going to work. We've been having a lot of fun getting it together. Trying not to work too much because my hand does have the rod in it. Getting into how we made the beams, we have the 2 pines and 1 Douglas fir. We just poured out some resin. It's just an epoxy mix. You have, a gallon of one, just a little bit of the other. It's the catalyst that makes the whole thing harden up. We just pour it into the wood. It's going to heat up naturally to about 150 degrees. Put it in some stripped fiberglass and keep layering it. And then we just flip the boards over and vise them together. It's overall pretty easy, and it's going to make the boards a lot stronger, a lot smaller, and it's a lot lighter to carry around and easy enough to do with the family and one thing. Again, is just pouring the resin. We mixed everything, added the catalyst, and just gluing it all together. They went along, put a couple screws in, going through clamping it just to squeeze out any excess. But progress is being made. And then I started losing circulation in my left hand, just overworking it, starting to swell, cause some restrictions. So we'll see where this goes. Still need to fill this garage up with firewood, and the seasons are still ticking along. Suck it up, buttercup. Things are tougher in Alaska.